19 years old, 6 days. That's how old Lamine Yamal will be when he steps onto the pitch in the World Cup final, making him the third youngest player to ever play in one. But just a few years ago, this same kid was growing up in one of the poorest neighborhoods in Spain. His mother had him when she was 16. His father searched the streets just to bring home food. This is how Lamine Yamal rose from nothing to the biggest stage in football. The beginning. Lamine Yamal was born in Esplugues de Llobregat near Barcelona and raised in a working-class neighborhood called Rocafonda. His father is of Moroccan descent, his mother of Equatorial-Guinean roots. This was not a family of money. It was a family that struggled. In his own words, his mom had him at just 16. His dad, he said, sometimes had to pick things up from the streets just to put food on the table. But even as a small boy, one thing was clear: Lamine could play. At just 6 years old, scouts spotted him. Barcelona's famous academy, La Masia, opened its doors. The same academy that produced Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta now had a new kid with a left foot like magic. The rise. By the age of 15, Lamine Yamal did something almost no one had done before him. He made his debut for FC Barcelona's first team, the youngest player to do so since 1922, over 100 years. Then came the records, one after another. At 16, he made his debut for the Spanish national team. Weeks later, he scored against Granada, becoming the youngest goalscorer in the history of La Liga. At Euro 2024, he scored a stunning goal against France and passed the legend Pelé, becoming the youngest player ever to score in a Euros or a World Cup. This wasn't luck. This wasn't hype. This was a generational talent announcing himself to the world. The World Cup. Fast forward to 2026. The World Cup, hosted across the USA, Canada, and Mexico. Spain arrived as one of the favorites, and at the heart of their attack was a teenager. Here's a stat that says everything. Lamine Yamal had started 12 games at the World Cup and the Euros combined, and Spain won every single one. A 100% win rate, the best of any European player across both tournaments. In the semi-final against France, he won the penalty that opened the scoring, had a goal ruled out by mere inches, and dragged Spain into the final. On his 19th birthday, he was asked what gift he wanted. His answer? A win and a trip to New York. Days later, he got exactly that. The final and legacy. And so, at MetLife Stadium in New York, a 19-year-old from Rocafonda stood on the biggest stage football has to offer. The World Cup final. Spain against Argentina. The old guard against the new. And in the end, Lamine Yamal became a world champion before he could even legally drink in the country he won it in. And even in defeat, one thing was certain. This was only the beginning for Lamine Yamal. Think about it. A boy whose father picked up scraps from the streets. A mother who had him at 16. A neighborhood the world had never heard of. And now, one of the best footballers on the planet, with his whole career still ahead of him. This is Lamine Yamal. Remember the name, because the next decade of football might just belong to him. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button. I'm covering the rise of football's biggest stars, one story at a time. I'll see you in the next one.